Not him again, not right now. He with the slick black power sound. Don't get tired of me. I was like Cuddy, dead presidents, filling it for hubby. Then I read the story of Bookman Duddy. It really did touch me. Time went on, it continued to touch me. 5 in the morning, deep in the study, the African norm. So imperative that I know thyself, that I love thyself. Here, everyone, someone else. I bet you the sun won't melt, and I bet that line for some won't help. What's information with no application? A conscious community acting Caucasian. It's more than a rare occasion. It's a lot of y'all faking. Now read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together. Let's grow. You conscious now. Let's grow. You conscious now. Read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together. Let's grow. You conscious now. Let's grow. You conscious now. Cops killing spores all the more. Reason to burn in Baltimore and anywhere else. How people get tortured. I don't want to hear from the clues in office. They keep asking us to be patient. We know the verdict, acceleration. We know the feeling of frustration. We know the preachers speak the ease of. Just leave it, the crack of Jesus. Integrate like a pack of zebras. Get lost in a cycle of the insane. Let me explain. There's no love in the Aryan's veins. Only our sick would expect their change. Cut those chains. Free your Abdullah. I don't want to lose ya. Let's go. Now read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together. Let's grow. You conscious now. Let's grow. You conscious now. Read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together. Let's grow. You conscious now. Let's grow. You conscious now. Never surrender to the agenda. No homos or transgenders. Go see Umar for the fifth. The Pan-African psychologist. Maybe he can help you find a cure. I'm in Botswana's elegant resort. Beautiful queen, structure gorgeous. The perfect for black male absorption. How much truth comes from the study? If the LGBT fund the study, just asking as in you. Scholastic skills acquired in higher classes. Open and magnify your glasses. Third eye, then up, fire them faggots. Sankofa Paku, that's power and control over you. Now read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together. Let's grow. You conscious now. Let's grow. You conscious now. Read those books, heard those lectures. Negroes, get yourself together. Let's grow. You conscious now. Let's grow. You conscious now.
All right, we had a little bit of problem with our technology, but we got it down now. Let's get into this and move fast. Let's talk about it. 2019 Black Consciousness. We're looking right here. We're looking at a great general in Kenya, AyoKimathi. That's my namesake, powerful brother. And in that spirit, we want to understand, what does it mean to have black consciousness, to be black and be conscious, to be aware, to be awake in 2019. It speaks to the level and degree to which you have an understanding that non-Africans are working to commit genocide against African people worldwide. Let's jump right into it, because we done belabored the moment. You know this is straight black pride, but I know you know that, so I ain't got to go through all of that. Let's move in, and we say we are no longer in a situation where it's a negotiation, where we have our side and they have their side, and we talked about it. We ain't fighting gay with gay. We're not even talking about, well, you know, I don't care what you do and you're, no, it ain't about that. It's black man, black woman, black child. Anything else is uncivilized. It's disgusting. So we know we in the crusades, 21st century crusades. Straight black pride movement. Who is the target? LGBT. No go. No can do I, no can do you. Also, we want to remind people that Zimbabwe tour has changed the dates. We're thinking right now it's going to be the 15th through the 29th of October. We're just trying to get the exact dates down. We'll let you know, but we got some folks that are on the way. They're going to come on the tour from the U.S., and man, we're going to have a fantastic time on this Starlight Global Tour, meeting with our brothers and sisters from the UK in beautiful Zimbabwe, and have a marvelous time. For those that want to support, believe me, your support is needed. You can imagine what a brother goes through. Facebook said, you too straight, black, and proud. You don't like this LGBT thing? PayPal said, you got to go. Wiped us out. Then we had Square. They said, hey, you on this, you straight, black, proud. Are you going to give it up or not? We said, no, I can't give it up. That's who I am. Well, if you don't like the LGBT, you can't have Square. Pow, put us out of there. So now we got CashApp. This is the last way for people to send us support. Then if, once they take this, then the next thing we're going to be, you got to send the check in the mail. Go ahead and send it to the P.O. box. That still works too. But right now it's $AyoKimathi, AYOKIMATHI. So let's go ahead and talk about, because what we're really talking about when we talk about this Equality Act, the reason we're having this discussion is this week, Thursday. I just got off the phone. There's a lot of whites in this country that really are not happy with this whole thing. Strangely enough, as African people, we look at the fact that they're the ones that have pushed it on us. And that is true. I mean, there's no way to dispute that. But one of the weird things is that even more than black people, unfortunately, there are whites out here who are organizing and saying this stuff that they're pushing now is insane and we shouldn't be tolerant of it. And so we actually, I would prefer to be working with an all organized effort of black people working to do something about it. But quite frankly, outside of straight black pride, there's not too many people to work with. Our people are just not standing up for this thing, not taking a position, not standing strong. People are just allowing it to happen. So in that vein, we're going to talk tonight about, and we'll get to, they're trying to put it through the House this week, I think Thursday, to legalize it. What it really amounts to is the legalization of pedophilia. I'll explain what we mean. It's the civil side of it, and then of course the Justice for Victims of Lynching Act is the criminal side of it. But we'll break that down as we go through it. But let me just give you a brief snapshot of what's going on around the world with black people. I call it we call it the homophile snapshot in 10 minutes. Let me run through this thing. Okay, you remember we talked about the U.S. government February 2018, $600,000 to do a study. If you read the contract, they're going for a nonprofit organization to study how they can essentially make black men in Kenya turn towards homosexuality and accept it. And then there's supposed to be a vote in May, right now as we're speaking, to legalize homosexuality in Kenya. But there are a lot of ministers now that are starting to stand up and try to fight against it. Folks in Kenya trying to push back. We went over there to push back. But the Europeans are telling exactly what their interests are. Here it is right here. The HRC, the Human Rights Commission, and the Human Rights Campaign. The Human Rights Campaign is the biggest global political LGBT homophile juggernaut. And the Human Rights Commissions in these different areas, they don't have nothing to do with human rights. It has to do with pushing homophilia, sexual degeneracy, and pedophilia on our people.
The former British colonies follow suit. In February, Kenya's High Court will rule on whether to decriminalize same-sex intimacy, which is currently punishable with up to 14 years in prison.
Decriminalization would mean, for the first time, LGBT Kenyans would start to participate within the Kenyan democracy as equals. We're going to be just a step closer to figuring out how an equal Kenya looks like.
Campaigners hope that decriminalization could start a domino effect across Africa.
I think it will be a tipping point for Africa. It will be the beginning of the unraveling of these laws.
The Stonewall Risers fought for the right to be free, and fundamental human rights will remain at the top of the agenda for sexual and gender freedom in 2019.
So you got this right here, brothers and sisters. Now we go on, and I'm showing you this here because you remember you paid, so you have the right to see what happened. I was just over in Kenya in, what was that? That was March of this year. You paid for me to go, and look at what they did at Nairobi, University of Nairobi, where the homophiles are coming in to push this up. The people don't even know what the gay flag is. On both sides of the street, this is what they put there.
All right, brothers and sisters, again, we're here in Nairobi, Kenya, at the University of Nairobi. We see that these LGBT have come here and insidiously planted their flag on Kenyan soil. It's already illegal to promote homosexuality, to be involved in homosexuality. Yet, while it is illegal, they have the audacity to come and plant their flag with the promotion of behavior that the society has determined is unhealthy and is illegal. So they're openly operating with illegal behavior in the face of everybody, and we're here to make sure that this stops. Straight black pride.
All right. Let's go to Toronto, Canada. And this has been going on for some time now. This is not brand new. I just started recirculating the internet now, and I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and show people, just so you get an idea. This is what is being promoted to our people and to everybody. And what I'm starting to notice, I want people to pay attention to something. What I'm starting to notice, I told you, if you watch the Pizzagate, you really got to watch the Pizzagate. Pizzagate, the new slave trade. I told you at some point they're going to realize there's a huge resistance from the whites, and they're going to begin to start negotiating. And the basic negotiation principle is, all right, we'll push this on black people since they're not fighting back, which is why we should have been the first ones out front. It would have never been our battle. They would have lost. Wouldn't even been trying to do it on us because it wouldn't be possible. But we have cowards in leadership. This is what you see when you're on the subway. Are you seeing me, brothers and sisters? This is what the subway system in Canada, Toronto, is pushing on people. This is who we are as black men. Take pride in the sex you want. So everything now, pride has to do with being a sick, degenerate orgies put out in the public in the subway system. Chicago, Illinois. What are they doing? Spreading this with 2 males. Those are 2 guys. Chicago, Illinois. This is what we're doing. I told you, the homophile war in a snapshot worldwide is coming down on us, brothers and sisters. Are you looking at this? This is serious. This is what our children are getting. We're not standing up. Washington, D.C., right there. Show them what's underneath. Show them your jockey. White boy in his drawers. The little boy's feet right at his penis, the little black child. It's open, declared homophile war on our people and on our children. Right in front of our face. There's no way to dispute this. They're not even hiding it anymore. What about, oh, well, that's in America, but Africa's going to fight back. Well, they better start fighting back. Here it is in South Africa. South Africa's school system, LGBT curriculum, has just been passed. Actually, it was passed a few months ago. I put it out, let people know. The LGBT curriculum throughout the entire school system from kindergarten to 12th grade. Are y'all listening to me? See, these are lesbians here. This is Miss Galen Popo in 2014. There you go. Did you see the homophilia in South Africa is worse than it is here in America. And the acceptance by black people in South Africa is worse than it is in America. We're talking about a country full of black people. More black people there than Europeans. More black people there than anybody. And they fully, there are brothers and sisters who don't agree with it, particularly out in the countryside and in the kingdoms. But the main cities have been almost totally overthrown. It's our people's minds are being ravaged. The sexual abuse is incredible. It's warfare of the magnitude that we have not seen, and nobody wants to talk about it. That's why we got to talk about it. We're not nobodies. Now, let me just take you to where that really is taking us so you can understand. What are we talking about? Here's the article right here. Hopefully you can see that article. What is the article saying? All right, grade 4s to learn about masturbation in new life orientation curriculum. This is the curriculum coming up for 2019. The life orientation curriculum is hooked up with the 21st century. From next year, textbooks for pupils in grades 4 to 12, 4th grader, which is how old? 9 years old, will reflect a cutting-edge curriculum that treats masturbation, sexual consent, gender nonconformity, and single-parent families as mainstream. Sex therapist Dr. Marlene Wasserman, small hat anyone? Dr. Eve, yeah, she is Eve. Eve Ill. One of the 80 experts who have overhauled the curriculum said masturbation is normalized and it is threaded through from the grade 4. It begins with self-pride. Now, pride has everything to do with sexual deviancy, as opposed to straight black pride, which is self-respect and self-love and dignity. Self-image, body diversity, genital differences, genital changes, and touching oneself for pleasure. This is what they're teaching 8 and 9-year-olds. They're bringing pornography into the schools, and the South African black government under President Ramaphosa has endorsed it and rubber-stamped it. Has endorsed pedophilia as legalized in South Africa. Why they gonna change the name to Azania? No, keep it South Africa if you're gonna do that. Then you got the EFF and Brother Malema pushing homosexuality in Africa. All of the major groups that are speaking from the forefront in South Africa, all pushing this madness and coming out speaking negatively of any country in Africa that stands against it. This is Reality Check 101. The curriculum was geared for the 2020 South African learner, who is he, she, they, a fluid, gender non-conforming child raised in a family of a mom and an absent dad, Wasserman said. Wasserman! When are we going to recognize who these hats are? We got to take the gloves off. Stop hiding. Here are these hats everywhere. Wherever there are African people, here come some hats telling them to bend over and turn their children over to them. Get the Pizzagate, the new slave trade. You got to get it. You'll understand when you see the name Wasserman as a sex therapist, why this is relevant. You have to have that. If you do not have Pizzagate, the new slave trade, the electronic copy or the hard copy, the 3-disc set in your home, if you have not watched it and not sharing it with people, you are not a responsible African. This is warfare. Haley Walker, chair of Protective Behavior South Africa, said the textbooks were long overdue because many life skills have been left to chance. So life skills now are for our 4th graders to go and masturbate. This is, I couldn't make this stuff up, brothers and sisters. Yeah, I'm hot tonight because they coming after our children and we got to get hot too. Let's go to Howard University. Howard University. You go to the board of directors and you find out what? Hat everywhere. It's a hat trick, hat everywhere. Only one I think might be on the board. Trustees, I think that Rock Newman might be there. Everybody else, I think, is a hat. Not everybody. There's some hats there. What are they doing now? In Howard University. I want to be a Howard. What are they? The Howard Bison. I want to be a Bison. I'm proud. I'm a HU graduate. Here's from the Hilltop, the Howard University paper, Campus News. Howard University to offer queer studies course in the fall of 2019 for the first time ever. Not engineers. If you go there now, you don't see any black people in the engineering department. You don't see any black people in the medical department. You don't see them in the legal department unless they want to be a hip hop lawyer. They're all in liberal arts. Not really. Not no architects. I mean, Howard University looks like New York City. It's not black anymore. For the higher level education, for the actual high level skilled workers, we talking doctors, attorneys, architects, things of that nature. The sciences, applied sciences, the high level. Not no black folks there no more. But what are they bringing to all the children? On Monday, April 22nd, it was announced Howard University would add a highly anticipated new course beginning in the fall of 2019. Students at Howard University will have the opportunity to enroll in a queer studies course, which we know is going in the direction of a whole queer study department, and you'll be able to get your whole degree at some point in queer studies. This is where they're going with this. The course will be offered under the classics department, focusing on LGBTQ history and presence in both antiquity and contemporary life. So now they're going to start lying to our children and teaching them that this behavior came out of Africa at a black university or a university that black students go to. Another course will be potentially offered under the Department of Political Science, focusing on policies that directly affect the LGBTQ community across the diaspora. They're pushing this. The existence of these courses can be attributed to Justin Calhoun, a junior political science major who served as the 2018-2019 president of Cascade. Calhoun began to work to make the class a reality in the spring of his freshman year. We're at Howard University, so we take all these black courses so we know a lot about where we came from and where we're going. I feel really developed in my black identity, but I want to learn more about where it intersects with my queer identity in a classroom setting with discussion. The aim of the course is to interrogate queerness the same way Howard interrogates blackness. At a black university, They're saying they want homophilia to be equalized to our blackness. The Mission Cascade slogan, as queer as it is black. This is filth. Too often I've heard people say that being queer is some new thing my generation came up with. But seeing queerness taught as history and as a part of the political thought affirms my identity and place within the world. I'd rather see Howard University burn down than to send a child of mine to this filthy, degenerate institution. That's all it is, a filthy, degenerate institution. I said it. And guess what? We say, well, you know what we got to do? We got to get some Pan-Africanism over at Howard University. Well, it's real pan in the African American History Department. You're looking at the chair right here. That's right, Greg Kimathi Ka. Greg Kimathi Ka. Kind of pink car he driving. Let's see what he has to say from the Pan-African perspective, because we know the strong Pan-Africans are not going to allow the LGBT to come in and overthrow the black education for the African students who attend this historically black institution that's supposed to be designed to produce the brightest and best minds who men will go out and become the best men in our community, marry beautiful black women and produce beautiful black families, and then send their children to Howard University to become a Bison alumni, right? These beautiful sisters are going to get their minds blown open with knowledge of their blackness and their capacity to achieve, and going to go out and compete in the world, going to find a strong brother and marry him, and they're going to build an empire and send their children back to this great institution, send funding back to this great institution. Let's see what the Pan-African, Greg Kimathi Ka, is pushing in favor of Howard University and Pan-Africanism. I ain't coming to make no friends tonight. What?
Dr. Carr, as chair of Afro-American Studies here, do you see the Black Lives Matter movement education piece? Is that history? Or is it current events, or is it a blend? The movement is really only 5 years old. I think you say it well, Harold. It's a blend. I mean, listen to your brother and listen to what will be taught at the K-12 level, and we know that this is a week that's being observed all over the country. In many places, Philadelphia, where I lived for 17 years, a number of the schools, and later on you're going to be hearing from Teach for Change. They've done a lot of work around this. It's about the guiding principles of Black Lives Matter as they've emerged: diversity, restorative justice, globalism, queer affirming.
Queer mean to you? Queer to me is an umbrella term that incorporates folks who are outside of the heterosexual norm and what we call heteronormativity, which is a big word for relationships, marriage. It's just between a man and a woman. It's the patriarchal family as we understand it. What's important to us in Black Lives Matter is that we are elevating and cultivating the leadership of folks who have not been included in the conversation. That includes Black trans women, that includes Black immigrant women, Black disabled folks, Black incarcerated and formerly incarcerated people. So to us, right, we're really trying to queer our movement. We know even in our tradition and our legacy of Black liberation that queer and trans folks have been in the leadership, however, have had to kind of cut pieces of themselves off because it wasn't acceptable. Baird Rustin being an incredible example of that. Audre Lorde being an incredible example of that, right? We want to create a different kind of movement culture. We think it's important, we think we need it, and we don't think that we can survive without it.
So I hear that and I think, fantastic, the more the better.
It's about the guiding principles of Black Lives Matter as they've emerged: diversity, restorative justice, globalism, queer affirming, unapologetically Black, and other principles. So it's giving young people a chance to think through what their lives mean in real time and having a space to work that through and connect it to what they're learning. So it is, in terms of contemporary events, it's very relevant. But it's also an opportunity, and it's also an opportunity to link that to previous generations of struggle. our classrooms open to that dialogue and to connect that dialogue to previous generations. I think one of the things that I've seen Black Lives Matter emerge generally as a concept is that there sometimes is, we could work, I think, a little bit better to deliberately integrate this youth movement into the longer arc of Black and brown and oppressed movements in America. And I know that it's a global movement as well. Finally, I'll say this. Last semester, I had a chance to bring in a young sister from South Africa who happened to be in D.C. to discuss the Fees Must Fall movement in South Africa, which is an incredible youth-led movement there to deal with questions of structural inequality in education, employment. And what it really allowed us to do is see how our local struggles are part of a global wave of resistance. So now I'm absolutely going to follow up on it and see how BYP 100 has been involved on campus and see how we can get them more deeply integrated.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I love black people. You all love black people. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I love black people. You all love black people. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
We live in a world where we gotta say Black Lives Matter. Hatred and hatred. I'm doing fine. People that had me in blind, calling me up and I act like a nigga gone blind. Now that I got peace of mind, this is a note to my granny who told me.
I'm with the DC chapter, and I'm here because I love black people, and one of the best ways to show your love is to give your time.
Thank God for my mother. Thank God for my brothers. Thank God for my cousins. Thank God for my lovers. And I'm wondering if you listening to a lost soul like mine. To a lost soul like mine. Mama was planting a seed. It came out black and the world wanted me to be blue. I shouldn't do this for you. Not if you want me to act like a motherfucking coon. Nah. I ain't finna bring out hat tricks for you niggas. What's my rabbit? I got rapping habits on my Roger. Went home, all of you niggas. Around this time and I was either supposed to be in jail or supposed to feel like a good nigga. But these cruel spirits singing to me and tell me don't fail on us, my nigga. So I'm doing this for Marcus and Auntie Jimmy. Hear him talking to me up in his master and make the sons out of moms. I thank God for my mother.
Social movements create a political climate in which transformative change that once seemed impossible can actually happen.
Thank God for my brothers. Thank God to a lost soul like mine. Thank God for my lovers like mine. And I'm wondering if you're listening to a lost soul like mine. To a lost soul like mine.
Our local struggles are part of a global wave of resistance. So now I'm absolutely going to follow up on it and see how BYP 100 has been involved on campus and see how we can get them more deeply integrated. And what we see, we have an embarrassment of riches here in the DMV with Teachers for Change and other organizations to hear about Brian tell me what's going on. We look at the same thing in Baltimore. Like I said, I know a lot of young people in Philadelphia who are doing work. Seattle, you mentioned it, is doing work as well. It's all over the country. And so, no, I think the cat's out the bag now, walking around freely. Looks like it's a black cat, too. I think that's a good way to end this conversation. Brian Trueblood, Dr. Greg Carr, Fayette, Cologne, thank you so much.
My name is AyoKimathi. I'm a Prince George's County resident. Thank you for this opportunity to come and speak. Very recently, I discovered or was reported that the Prince George's County School Board voted unanimously in favor of a Black Lives Matter initiative for a week during Black History Month. I'm assuming that the Prince George's County School Board did not know this, and I'm pretty sure that most of the parents and concerned citizens who are sitting here did not know that the stated, public, acknowledged goal of Black Lives Matter as it relates to educating black children is to promote homosexuality and transgenderism as natural and normal acceptable behavior to children. It is a national initiative that they have publicly stated that their goals and objectives are doing nationally, specifically targeting black children. And in this particular case in Prince George's County, bypassing the rights of parents whose religious and cultural belief systems would not be in favor of their elementary school children being taught to accept transgenderism and homosexuality against the culture of them as black people, against their religious cultures in the church, bypassing them without parents being even informed and being taught that in their second, third, fourth grade classrooms. What I have here for anyone who wants confirmation of this fact, you can go to SaveBlackChildren.com. You can see it for yourself. I also have official Black Lives Matter handouts where they say that their objective is to promote transgenderism and homosexuality to our children, and you can see it on their agenda. What I would say is that I'm hoping and I'm assuming that the board did not know that this was what their real true objective is, and that the board would come out with something publicly to say, we weren't aware, we did not intend to bypass parents' rights to protect their children's sanity by allowing this kind of agenda into our school system. And in the event that the board did know that this was the objective, which I'm confident that the board did not know, I want to say, as a black man who is responsible for protecting the well-being of black men, women, and children, that myself and like-minded people like me definitively will not stand in Prince George's County or anywhere else in this country for this type of thing to be pushed on our children against our will.
He said the cat's out of the bag. It's a black cat. Yeah, it's a pussy cat, unfortunately. Ain't no lion, I tell you that much. And now we look here. So what happens when we allow this madness and now these homophiles are just out of control with this stuff? Where are they going? This is in Houston, Texas. But now they have the drag queen story hours happening all around the country. Look at the black folks and the white folks bringing children to the drag queens. This is what they're doing with children there. Black, white. This is who they want, brothers and sisters. And it's being enforced around the country. And the Pan-Africans are pushing it. And I gotta say the Pan-Africans, because I haven't heard one so-called Pan-African speak out against what Greg Kimathi Carr is doing. So I'm gonna have to assume all of y'all are on board. It's not gonna, there's no way somebody could be straight Black Pride movement and then do something like this and they have a problem. I mean, I'm not gonna speak no harder than that. They're gonna have a problem. It's not gonna work. Sorry. So this is what Black nationalism and Pan-African has run itself into. And this is what's being tolerated under the guise of Pan-Africanism and Black nationalism. And so the place you think we would have resistance is the very place that's promoting the stuff. The individuals calling themselves Pan-Africans. And no resistance from Pan-Africans. Matter of fact, I still hear people who are proud Pan-Africans talking about Greg Kimathi Carr, and he is publicly endorsing kindergartners to learn sexuality. Filthy sexuality. That makes you just as filthy as he is. I said it, every one of you so-called Pan-Africans that's running around here talking about Dr. Carr, this positive, you're just as filthy as he is by promoting this filth. Transgenderism to a kindergartner, you're just as filthy. I ain't coming here to make no friends tonight. Sick people. I don't want nothing to do with that stuff no more. I'm straight Black Pride. I don't want nothing to do with none of these other titles. Ain't nobody fighting. Here we see this, I don't know what she is, a Brahmin / something another. I don't know what she is. Something another. I know she's a straight up homophile. I mean, a pure unadulterated. This is Kamala Harris running for office now. She's the one, and I want people to understand because nobody's talking about both aspects. You got people that are fighting the Justice for Victims of Lynching Act, people who are fighting the Equality Act. Both of them are pedophile bills. So I want to just make it simple for people to understand. The Justice for Victims of Lynching Act was proposed by Kamala Harris. That's her small hat husband right there. I told you, them hats. See him holding his LGBT flag. You don't never see this kind of filth nowhere and ain't no hat. There's always a hat. There's always a hat somewhere. You just got to find him. He's slick and wily. You got to find him. There he is right there. There she is attached to him right there. This is the criminal side. It attached itself to the 1964, it attached itself to the hate crimes law. That basically says, you know, if you're black and you're a certain religion or religious, I think it's maybe mental illness, whatever the case may be, and somebody discriminates and does a physical crime and harms you because of that, you get more time than you would on a normal basis. So I never liked those laws, period, but the idea of it is, hey, we got Klansmen out here that'll try to lynch a black person. If you do that, you're going to do serious time. Okay. Now the Harris is coming in using the word lynching, which was about black people, but it has nothing to do with black people because black people are already in the hate crimes law. We're already protected. It's only changes now. Homophiles, transgender male, and I try to make it simple. I use the same example every time to make it simple. A transgender male, that just means a homophile, some sick dude who wants to say he's a female. Your 7-year-old is in the bathroom, in the woman's bathroom using it. You standing on the side. You see this grown 42-year-old male walk into the girl's bathroom. Your daughter screams. You go in there, you sock him in the mouth, you drag him out, put your foot in his behind. Well, he might, okay. Not put your foot in, you kick him. Yeah, let me say it differently. I'm sorry. You know, it's a gay world now. You got to be careful how you say stuff. You kick him. You say, get out. Now you're looking at 10 years. Because you are considered to have discriminated against him. And it's a hate crime because you did that because he's a male that wants to say he's a female. And you're supposed to know that that's what it is. You're supposed to know that you're supposed to be able to identify a male that thinks he's a female. And it's okay for him to be in there with your 7-year-old daughter in the bathroom. You smack the bama and give him what he deserved. And now all of a sudden you're looking at 10 years. Not him for going in the girl's bathroom with your daughter. He hasn't committed a crime. So your 7-year-old daughter's supposed to just sit there with that 40-year-old male. And if you do something about it physically, you're a criminal. This is what this sick, degenerate, scum-dwelling lowlife called Kamala Harris. We call her Kabbalah Harris. And y'all know about the Kabbalah. You would understand what that's all about. This individual is sick. In fact, she was the one when they were trying to get the files of the pedophile priests that were accused of molesting children to be released publicly. Who fought and sealed it? Said, nope, we're not going to allow that to happen. Kabbalah Harris. Yep. She's going to protect that Babylonian torment with her life. You want to get a much more detailed understanding of the issues that we're facing with the Justice for Lynching Act, you can go to YouTube and put in Kamala Harris Justice for Lynching Act, HR 2282 and more. And you can get that. Now, HR 2282 was the Equality Act, the Pedophile Act, which is now HR 5. It's changed its number because it didn't go through at that time. But now this week, they're trying to push that through this coming Thursday. So this is from Monday, January 28th, 2019. Also, New Year's Day, Justice for Victims of Lynching Act, 2018, January 1st, 2019. So you can watch it there. That's an hour piece. It goes directly and gives you deep. We actually look at the bill and show you what it does and what it's designed to do on January 1st, New Year's Day. Also, you can go to our Facebook page, go into the videos, go to Irritated, Genie and Southeast Facebook page, hit videos, and then you come down and you can see December 24th, we did the Equality Act, most dangerous sexual legislation in history, 3 hours and 7 minutes. Then you go to New Year's Day program, where it's 3 hours and 18 minutes. The New Year's program, 2019 No Passes. On the No Passes one, you can get more about the Justice for Victims of Lynching Act. And then again, here on January 6th, we talked about the Democrats pushing HR 2282. That's just a minute clip there. And so you can, go find these for yourself and watch them. Now, here's the one that they're trying to push through this coming Thursday. It was sponsored by and put up by Sissy Lean. And it's just and I'm not even being funny when I say this, but why is it that the gay folks now that are prominent, all of them got gay names? The first time I saw that was the openly gay, I think, Bishop Rainy Cheeks. I don't even want to say that again. Then he added a Quabna to it, a Quabna Rainy Cheeks, but he's gay. Like, nah, man, your name's not really Rainy, and then you don't put Rainy Cheeks. That's not good. Then you got Jesse Smollett, whatever. Juicy Smollett. You know, that's what Judge Joe Brown let us realize, that he chose that name intentionally. His name is Justin, but he chose the French way to say his name is Juicy. So he wanted to call himself Juicy. Why do you call yourself Juicy Smallhead? Like, it's just not good. Then you got a guy running for president, and his name is Booty Gig. Like, why is your name, is that like a gay occupation, Booty Gig? I don't get it. I mean, like, you shouldn't do that. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm saying, like, if his real name was Booty Gig when he was born, like, his parents shouldn't have named him Booty Gig and then let him be gay too. Like, you shouldn't be gay anyway, but I'm not saying it'd be better if your name wasn't Booty Gig and you was gay, but I'm saying it's just not, I'm not trying to be funny, but like, why does the gays all have gay names now? It's like, the whole world's turning gay. I didn't even know they were gay names. That's like gay. Like Booty Gig. It's like, if you wasn't gay, I wouldn't say it was a gay name, but it just sounds funny. You know, you make a joke or so, but it's not funny when you're actually gay. I don't know. I don't know if that matters, but then you got a Sissy Lean. Like, whose name is Sissy Lean? That's like, you know, they used to say with the Black Power, during the Black exploitation period, it was the gangster lean, you know. In that gangster lean, y'all remember the gangster lean, and you know, and then they made the song just for my homies with the gangster lean. Now you got Sissy Lean. I don't even know. It really doesn't matter. I'm being very serious, but for a moment, I took a quick comic relief break. It seems like all these gays now have gay names. I don't know, but anyway, he's the first openly gay mayor of a U.S. state capital. And Sissy Lean, Representative David Sissy Lean out of Vermont, proposes this act in 2000, I think it was 2017, called the Equality Act, but it's not about equality. It's the civil end of the Justice for Victims of Lynching Act. The Justice for Victims of Lynching Act makes it a criminal offense to hit somebody. So let's go to the same situation. Your 7-year-old daughter's in the bathroom and you say, you know what? I remember the Justice for Victims of Lynching Act, which is really just a pedophile act, and I'll explain that in a second, but I know that if I go and hit this guy in the bathroom and then he says he's a transgender or something like that, then I'm going to get locked up. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to the parishioner, the owner of the store, and let him know, hey, this is unacceptable. This guy's in there, 40-year-old, in there with my 7-year-old. You need to do something. And so the owner of the establishment says, hey, you got to get out of here. Don't come back in here. We don't want nobody going into the girls' bathroom, no men. You're a creep. We're going to call the police on you. Now that individual has the right to sue that establishment because they've done discrimination. Because this bill attaches itself to the 1964 Civil Rights Act and says it's a crime and I'm giving you the best case example to see how far this thing goes. If you say something to that guy. Now this is where both of these bills become horrible. According to Judge Joe Brown, who's the actual judge, I'm talking about the actual Judge Joe Brown. You remember him from the television program. The language used in the Justice for Victims of Lynching Act, talking about who is defended, is virtually the exact same language when he was sentencing pedophiles who molested children many years in prison. The description they would give of those pedophiles was something, I don't want to quote him, but something to the best of my recollection, something to the degree people with a sexual preference or proclivity to certain types of behavior, whatever the exact language was that was used to describe pedophilia, the language that described the pedophile, that same language has been taken and used in the Justice for Victims of Lynching Act, thus making that act protect pedophiles. And we know that now in the DSM, they're trying to make it where pedophilia is a sexual preference as opposed to a crime. It's a sexual orientation. So all of this is happening at the same time. They're trying to legalize pedophilia and to prevent people from dealing with pedophiles when they catch them dealing with children, they're normalizing the behavior through the medical industry and mental health industry. And to supplement that, they're criminalizing and making it illegal to stop civilly anybody who wants to resist or say anything about this behavior. So literally, with this Equality Act, the argument can be made that what I'm saying tonight is hate speech. And under the Equality Act, I'm discriminating because I'm putting out hatred towards degenerate behavior and sick, sordid, putrid, disgusting behavior, savagery. And based on that, I should be civilly liable for anything that happens to some freak that goes out there. So I'm having this discussion tonight, and you go out there, and you, brother, you got some liquor in you, and you dancing with this fine sister, and then you say, whoa, you find out she's not a sister, and you bust her upside her head. And then you say, well, I was listening to the Irritated Genie. He said, this stuff is out of control. I never thought it would happen to me. Now, all of a sudden, this Equality Act makes it an issue. And then you can go to jail with the Justice for Victims of Lynching Act, and me for saying that it's sick behavior, and that individual, to some degree, I believe they have committed rape. And I think that a male presenting himself as a female, or a female presenting herself to a male, to a heterosexual, is a crime that should be classified as rape. And we need legislation pushing that. I really believe that. But saying that, according to what they're doing here in the Equality Act, now becomes illegal. But that's the direction they're headed. And saying anything about a pedophile, because that's their sexual preference, will become illegal. Pedophiles will be protected in the same way that a religious person is protected from discrimination. Probably even more so. So we see, if you want to know more about the Equality Act, you can go December 24th, 2018 on YouTube, a 2-hour piece, Equality Act, HR 2282, most dangerous legislation in history, sexual legislation. And again, you can go to Kamala Harris, Justice for Lynching Act, HR 2282 and more, January 28th. And then, of course, we know our videos, Everybody Needs to Have It, Feminization of the Black Male, Feminism, Lesbianism, and the Making of a Black Widow, Possessed, Sexual Warfare, Blacks versus Homos, The War Against Satan, and the most serious piece. I'm saying it again. If you have not ordered, go to waronthehorizon.com, and then you go to the store. You can get it electronically, which means you'll get it within 24 hours. It'll be emailed to you. You download it to a computer or a tablet, not to a phone. It won't download to a phone, but to a computer or a tablet. And you can have all 3 discs that way. Or you purchase the hard copy online. We send it out to you in the mail. It'll be there within 7 days. You have to have Pizzagate, the new slave trade, because otherwise it's almost impossible to put together what we're facing. And we can win it. I saw somebody in the comments said, we're doomed as black people. We're not doomed. That's why I'm here. If we were doomed, I wouldn't be doing this. We're going to win, but we have to stop pretending that we're not in a war. We're in a war. We know it's a war. We got to fight. When I share the information, you get overwhelmed. That's because you're not a fighter. Don't get overwhelmed. Start fighting. The only reason that they're winning is because nobody's fighting. We've been sitting there taking it. And when homos want to give something and heterosexuals take it, that's not good. You start to become a homo. That's why I said we can't fight gay with gay. We're starting to act like the homophiles. We got to stop doing that. You have to have the Pizzagate, the new slave trade. It's heavy. You have to have it. It is irresponsible to say, yeah, I'm up on the information. No, you're not up on the information. If you do not have that and you have not watched it, you are not up on the information. You absolutely, positively must have Pizzagate, the new slave trade. Show it to everybody in your family. They have to understand what we're facing. As you can see now, it's all around us. It's surrounding us, but we can win. We just have to decide to fight. That's it. Also, you got to have the book, War on the Horizon, Black Resistance to the Homophile Assault. Again, you can get that on waronthehorizon.com. You can also get and order Homosexuality and the Feminization of African Males from Bob Baruti. Go ahead and order that from akobenhouse.com website. And now I'm going to come on out, and we're going to go right to our phone lines. I hope everybody is appreciating information we dropping tonight. We think it's very, very crucial information, and we try to do it fast. See, it's 8:17. We ran through that quickly, got right in it, started dropping that knowledge and information, and we're ready now to go to our phone line. So, brothers and sisters, if you're on the phone line, you should be on the phone. Hit the number 1. Come on in here and talk to us. The number is 515 602-9781. You remember we did that writing campaign. It had a major impact. It pushed this all the way till now. So our writing campaign before was great, but they're trying to vote on this on Thursday. Everybody should be calling your Congress people, your senators, your Congress people in the House. You need to find out who is in the House of Representatives in your area, who's in the Congressional Black Caucus in your area. Okay, give me a second. They say I got an echo. Let me bring this down. All right, let me see. All right, can you hear me? Everybody, let me know if you can hear me. Tell me if you can hear me. Let me see. Tell me if you can hear me. Just let me know, because I don't want to be sitting here talking and nobody can hear me. Somebody let me know that you hear her, brother. Tell me we hear you loud and clear. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Can you hear me? Let me see. Let me see. Give me a moment. Trying to see if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Let me go down. Yes. Okay, good. Everybody said yes. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, it's loud and clear now with no echo. Fantastic. Okay. So we cleared the echo up. Got you good. All right. So I'm going to go to my first call. And what we need to do, we need to make phone calls because we don't have enough time to write letters now. Emails are okay. Get on that phone. Make somebody talk to you and tell them you need to table this bill. We are against this Equality Act. Do not do it. I'm a citizen. I'm upset. Call anybody in the House of Representatives in your area and tell them I'm going to be very upset and I'm going to look at my vote next time. We don't want this done. So I'm going to 4756 and then I'm going to 8492. 4756, straight black pride. Come on in here, talk to me.
Hey, brother Irritated Genie, glad to hear your program there. I do have a copy of Romani Baruti's book. I've been having it for several years, and the sad part about it, I haven't even read it cover to cover yet.
Yes, sir.
I would just flip the pages, but I'm going to definitely make that item on my agenda to do. Here in I'm calling from New Orleans.
Yes, sir.
Here in New Orleans, we have all of our public schools are chartered. It's the only school district in the country where over 95% of its schools are chartered. This occurred after Hurricane Katrina. And what came along with that was a lot of the, about 3,000 of the public school teachers, most of whom were black, were fired after Katrina because it was looked upon as an opportunity to start a new slate with the public school system. So you started having all of these people come in from around the country, mostly young white people, working in these schools that are pretty much privatized. Now, teachers who I spoke with who worked in these schools tell me that they're actually introducing homosexual topics in the classroom with the kids.
Right.
In fact, one young lady told me she had to take her son out of one of the schools because they actually had a class, a gay pride class or something like that. And so I can tell you here in New Orleans, this is happening already, even before the Equality Act is discussed and debated to be passed.
You know, I'm so glad that you called and said that because we saw, people don't realize, we had the brother that I went to in Kansas City, in Wichita, Kansas, and his 2-year-old grandson had been put in a dress, and the mother told him not to do it again, and she came back and they had put him back in the dress. So when I talk to people around the country, and all of their children were 2 years old, and all of them was done by white females around the country. Literally, there's a national effort in what they call it, daycare, to put black boys in girl dresses and to get our girls to start thinking that they're boys. And it's a national effort. I've heard this in more than one place. They're teaching the boys that they can have their penises cut off. I mean, I literally have talked to multiple people who said the same thing across the country. So to your point, it's already happening, and we haven't stood up fast enough and strong enough against it.
Right.
And nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, so you're saying that you're hearing that. Who's down there in New Orleans that's talking about it besides yourself, my brother?
A lot of the black people who taught or still teach and these charter schools are talking about it because I often go around them in some of the black-owned coffee shops or whatever. They talk about this stuff. Or parents who have their kids in this situation. Another thing that is being said by them is that in these charter schools, and see what you have is you have like different charter school companies. So one company might run 5 schools, another company might run 2 schools. So what you have is what I'm told is that the people who become principals and leaders in these charter networks are from the gay culture.
That's right.
The black males, so on and so forth. Now here again, that's what I'm told by people who worked in these schools and whose children go to these schools. That according to them, that this whole charter movement is nothing but a cover for homosexual behavior and homosexual leaders.
Which is pedophilia because they're going at children. So here's my question. Let me ask it differently. You're talking to the people who are telling you, who's talking about it publicly on radio, on television?
Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Because you brought something up that is very important. That even in what we call the conscious community, there's no critique or discussion of it at all. It's dead silence.
Right. See, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you, my brother?
I'll be 50 next month.
Okay, so I was thinking you have a sound of maturity on you. I was thinking that you may have been around in the period, but let me just go back in the period before we were up. Maybe if you go back to the 60s, there was a certain level of aggression that was related to activism. So you didn't just have, and there's nothing wrong with intellectuals' participation. You got to have your intellectuals, but you had serious Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, the chairman of the Black Panther Party. Bobby Seale was trained in weaponry. This guy could fight. And so just the level of manhood and activism, boots on the ground, prevented certain things from being able to happen. What we have now, we have people who they're Pan-African or Black nationalists in word, but either they're not intellectual enough to understand how dangerous this assault is, or they're intellectual enough, but they don't have the physical character to deal with things on the ground and to confront somebody. So really, the Black nationalist and Pan-African and so-called conscious community has become, in this particular fight, largely useless to our people, which is why we created the Straight Black Pride movement to separate ourselves and say, no, we're going to fight.
Yeah, I think that's a salient point you brought up, because now what I've been seeing, people like Van Jones crying and all this kind of stuff, like if Trump said something, white supremacists, all this crying. Have you noticed that over the last couple of years with all these black pundits on these cable news networks crying about stuff? And I mean, you had people in the civil rights movement getting whole dialogue. You didn't see them crying back then.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. It was a different level of manhood. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you're right. It's now you have what is presented as the activist leader scholars, like activist leader scholars or activist scholar leaders. They appear to have some weakness to them in the face of the public.
We have cowards
crying and all this other kind of stuff on TV.
Yeah, we have cowards and homophiles representing our people. We do not have real strong Black men, real committed, strong, serious Black women of the character that we had in the past. Not that anybody was perfect then, but what we have that they put in front of us now are some of the worst, disgusting cowards in the world, and they're really what do they call it when you protect? They're the emissaries for Satan. They block the door to serious Black movement from serious Black people. They're the gatekeepers. And you got a lot of them in New Orleans. You got a lot of gatekeepers in New Orleans.
And I want to say this, and I want to say this too, brother. I've spoken with a lot of young people between the ages of 14 to 17 in different settings, church or whatever. A lot of them go for this homosexual stuff.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with bounce music from New Orleans?
I am.
Okay, bounce music, as you know, is a variation of rap music developed in New Orleans. And the face of it is the transsexual. One of them is the one they call Big Frida from New Orleans here. A burly black guy with a wig on and with a dress sometimes. And shakes his behind in concerts. White folk go crazy over that. You hear me? White folk go crazy. And so I had a discussion with some young people about the bathroom thing. And these girls were trying to argue with me that Big Frida is a girl. And they really were angry with me because I wouldn't see Big Frida as a girl. And this is how far it has gone now. To the young people are confused.
And this is why I said, if everybody's listening to me, I'm going to say it one more time. You have to have Pizzagate, the new slave trade. I don't care if they 16 or 12. If they watch that, they're not going to be running around there talking about Big Frida is a girl anymore. They're going to realize what's going on. We have not utilized the tools that we have to resist this effort because we have not declared war on this agenda. And what you're saying, brother, is so poignant, and it's coming from a real space. And now it's time for us to ramp up and stop being Mr. Nice Guy. We can't be friendly with this agenda. They're taking our children from us right underneath our nose, and it's not enough of us standing up.
Right. You know, but yeah, that's the state of things, particularly, and then the stuff we call. This is another thing we got to be careful about too. This stuff that is being called black culture, this what is called urban stuff that's sold commercially as black culture. A lot of this stuff, all it's doing is pretty much encouraging us to be servants and appendages to the system.
It's true.
You know, the stuff you hear on urban radio in the morning time when you go into work, and all that Steve Harvey and all that kind of stuff in the morning.
They're the modern day versions of the cartoons that they used to do, the Amos and Andy, back in the early part of the 20th century, where the small hats would get on and make fun of black people, pretending they were black and everything, and then they would make cartoons defaming us. They have now turned our people into the cartoons, and they put the Steve Harvey cartoon, the what's the other guy, Tom Joyner cartoon. These are cartoon.
Tom Joyner,
Tom Joyner. These are cartoon character personalities that are doing tremendous damage to the minds and the reputation and the self-image of black people. No question about it.
Yeah.
All right, well, brother, this has been a powerful conversation. I'm glad you called us and talked about it. And look, New Orleans, Irritated Genie is here. When y'all get serious and get ready, bring a brother down. We start organizing and pushing back on this thing.
Well, what I'm gonna do is we have what is called, like many cities, New Orleans Cable Access TV.
Yes, sir.
And I know two brothers who have a program. In fact, one of the brothers is good friends with Fred Hampton Jr. in Chicago.
Okay.
With his brother, he'll be glad to have you on as a guest by phone on his show. In fact, I'll call him when I get off. And where can I send you a message or something, or get in contact with you to? Because he'll be glad. His name is the name of his show is called A Ballad of the Bullet. He comes on Wednesdays from 4:30 p.m. Central to 5:30 p.m. Central. And his name is Chewy Clark, Brother Chewy Clark. He'll be glad to have you on as a guest to speak about the movement by phone.
Sure. Well, my phone, the best way to reach me, send an email, liberation@war.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, sir.
Yes, sir. It's liberation.
Liberation.
Then the @
Okay.
waronthehorizon.com.
All one word, War on the Horizon.
Yes, sir. War on the Horizon, all one word.com.
All right, and this would be I'll see the email there. I'll see email. I'm going to call him now, and you go by the name of Irritated Genie.
Yeah, that's what everybody. Yeah, that's what everybody knows me as, Irritated Genie.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'll have him look at YouTube and so on and so forth to be familiar with you. But he'll be glad to have you on as a guest, and that way your message can come down here by way of a local cable access program with your information being shared, so those who view his program and the replay of his program can be familiar with your work and tune into your radio program as well.
Fantastic. We appreciate you, Bob. Now, how did you, just by the way, I know you're getting off now, 8492, hang on, I'm coming right to you. How did you hear about our program?
I had been seeing it. I had been seeing it several times. I used to see your links on YouTube, but what made me really tune in is one of those YouTube videos made me really hone into the work that you. I think it was an interview you had with Bomani Baruti. I think.
Okay.
A couple of interviews, I think that's on YouTube. But I had been seeing your program. I've heard a few times before. It's just that I only recently been tuning back into to see what programs and information I could listen to, and then I'm listening to your program now. So
yes, sir.
That's why I tune in there. So I think what you're saying is very important because we see it. Many Black people do talk about it among themselves. I was at a barbecue restaurant last week, and the brothers were talking about this stuff, and so people are talking about it. It's just that people are intimidated to come publicly and to say this stuff aloud publicly.
Absolutely, they lose their job. Understood. So, thank you for the call, Baba. Make sure, brother, give us a call next week or the week after. Tune in. We appreciate you. Thank you for giving us this connection.
I'll see your email.
Yes, sir. We'll be talking to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Straight Black Pride.
Okay, thank you.
8492, you're live on Straight Black Pride. Straight Black Pride.
Good evening.
Yes,
Praise Matt Turner, glory to Garvey, and of course, long live the spirit of Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Yes, sir. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good. Hey, I follow you on Facebook. And a couple of days ago, you put up a post about the young white boy. I got his name here. Desmond Naples. Remember Desmond Naples? That's the young white boy who was the drag queen, the 11-year-old kid.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you see, you put the post that you put up was about him getting an endorsement deal from Converse, the sneaker company. Now, he's from New York City, and so am I. I'm from New York City. And turns out that the Child Protective Agency paid this guy's parents a visit recently. That's right. Child Protective Agency paid the parents of Desmond Naples a visit. But now, here you have all these young Black boys who are adopted by all these white parents, particularly white celebrities. They're all wearing dresses. But Child Protective Services hasn't paid a single one of them a visit.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that kind of ironic? You have Madonna, who's in New York City, too. And, she's adopted those Black boys.
Mm-hmm.
She got them going into gay clubs and all that stuff, wearing dresses, doing all that stuff. Child Protective Agency has never been called on her. Never visited her. Then you have Charlize Theron with her adopted Black boy son wearing dresses for years now. All on YouTube, all over the magazines, all over the place. Child Protective Service never, ever, ever paid her a visit. But now you had this one white boy was wearing a dress, a drag queen, and what do you know? Child Protective Services not only visited their parents, but they visited on multiple occasions. What am I to think? What am I to think about that? Isn't that very interesting? So you see here that there's very clearly an agenda. When it comes to black boys and black girls, it's okay for us to be, quote unquote, confused gender, not knowing whether we're a boy or a girl. It's okay. But now when it comes to these little white boys, now all of a sudden you get a visit from Child Protective Services. I just thought that was very interesting.
It is. And when you finish, I'm going to definitely talk to that, because what you're saying is extremely critical and important, and I want to really address it, but I want to let you make sure you got everything you want to say out. And then I'm going to take the program in that direction, then I'm going to go to callers, but I got to really deal with what you're saying, because what you're saying is in the heart of what we're really facing. Absolutely. Excellent point, matter of fact.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much all I wanted to say for now. We've spoken a few times, and we've actually met before. So I just thought it was very, because I just found out this information about Child Protective Agency paying this young guy's parents a visit, and from what I found out, they paid multiple visits. It wasn't even one visit. They paid multiple visits, and how the Child Protective Service even found out about it is because of phone calls that they received from whites about what was going on with this child. And this is white from after the boy made an appearance on Good Morning America, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of them shows. I believe it was Good Morning America.
It was one of the football players,
like
Strahan and the white female, whatever that program is. Yeah.
Yeah. So he made an appearance on that, and then after that, Child Protective Services was flooded with phone calls.
Well, let me do this. We got your point, my brother. We got your point. I want to go ahead and speak to it. I thank you for the call. Definitely call back. Don't be a stranger. Excellent point. All right.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right,
straight black pride.
Straight black pride. All right, I really want to go in on something he's saying, and I'm going to say it again because it's critical. And it's good for us to talk. We do have to have these dialogues. That's critical, and I'm so glad that the two brothers called in today. Got to get some sisters calling in too, because y'all got excellent perspective too. 515-602-9781. Again, that's 515-602-9781. But I really want people, I want you to just take this, because I'm going to come in with this. I want people to really understand something. I put it in the Pizzagate, and the reason I'm pushing people to Pizzagate is for a reason. You're not going to get a better understanding of what we're facing than you're going to get in Pizzagate. You can't. It's irresponsible. How do I want to say it? When the war is coming, I can feel it. That's how I'm able. People say, why did you do this lecture when you did it and this, that, and the other? I do it when I can feel things that are going on. I'm talking to people, I can kind of feel it. Like the next lecture I'm going to do, because I'm really done with lecturing with the information, because I think we've given enough information. But the next lecture that I'm probably going to do after this Genocide Reloaded in June, which is mostly going to focus on how we fight back. The next one I'm going to do is, I don't know the title of it, but it's going to deal with the loneliness of being in this battle when you're trying to help your people. Because there's so many people that feel lonely. And the main point I'm going to make by the end, I can just go ahead and give you the conclusion. We're lonely because we haven't found each other. The fighters got to get together and actually make a way to be around each other. And then the same way we feel drowned out and lonely in environments where we're the only ones like us, we're going to make Negroes and self-hating, Euro-loving individuals, they're going to feel the same way around us. They're going to feel like they're not wanted, they're not welcome, they're not good enough, they're not valuable. We're going to make people feel that way. And I want them to feel that way. And they're going to do what we tend to do. Most of us can't hold on by our own, and so we get into Negro stuff. But they're going to either decide to let their Negro ways go and become Africans, or they're going to just have to be depressed and disappointed and feel like outcasts and walking around by themselves. We've got to get together and build a power base around each other. Get the Pizzagate, though. I'm going to tell you why you got to have it. And it goes to the point that the brother made and the brother before him. What he just said was very interesting. In the Pizzagate, I said it, and I'll say it again to everybody. The child sex trafficking industry and the world pedophilia right now, well, that was 2017, was focused. It was primarily white. Yes, they were targeting our children too, but just as a matter of what they were doing. But it was more whites than it was black children. Now, our problem in our own community with us doing it is different, but I'm talking about from the global perspective of going to molesting children, their preference was white. But I said, there are whites who are fighting back now. And the folks that they're fighting have so much power, it's not an easy fight. Even with the whites and the evangelicals and these saying, we got to stop this. It's not no easy fight. They're fighting against themselves. What I mean by that is they're white and they're fighting against other whites who have more power than them. And they have power. And it's a monstrous clash. And so what's going to end up happening is at some point they're going to sit down at the table. I think it's already happened. I said this then. I told them they're going to sit down at the table and they're going to say, look, you can't have our children. And they're going to say, we love children. They're going to say, well, look, they go to N-words. You had their children. And once they sit down and make that agreement and shake hands on it. But I said, it doesn't have to happen. Because the whites that hate this pedophilia, hate it so much, it's one time that they'll throw away. It's like today, I'm on a conference call with some white folks, evangelicals, who are organizing to stop this Equality Act, the Pedophile Act, from passing this week in the House. Because then it'll go to the Senate. It's probably going to pass there too. Then it's going to become law. Why am I sitting around talking to evangelical whites? It was even a small head on the line. I was like, yeah, that's when I just hung up. At some point, I can't stay here. But I work with the evangelical whites. You know why? Because we can fight later. They don't like me. I don't like them. But they stay in their community. I stay in my community. We really don't have that much conflict until we end up in a conflict. But for the most part, they want to be to themselves. We want to be to ourselves, not the issue. I don't like pedophiles. They don't like pedophiles. I don't like gays. They don't like gays. I can work with them. It's not that I want to, but I hate that. Just got to be honest. Our people are just cowards. Not all, but most. I can count on a few hands the serious leaders. I can count on one hand the serious black leaders worldwide that are boldly fighting this. I don't know if I need a whole hand. So it's not a difficult reason to understand. And when I look back at some of the times, because I used to be very critical of the Panthers working with whites. But I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm starting to see what happens. You're trying to save a race of people who are cowards. Hate to say it. You save a bunch of cowards. And the cowards sit there and don't do nothing while they're getting slaughtered. But you're jumping out there to fight them. And then you got a brave Euro over here who, for whatever their reasons are, they might not, you don't even know why. It's just, you're fighting. And your people are cowards. And you're fighting for them. And then somebody else offers help. And it's like, how do you not take the help? It's like, we're a bit cursed at the moment from a race of cowardice. Now, there are people out there that ain't cowards. You should be shaking your head with me right now. You should be going, yeah, you're surrounded by cowards too. As a race of cowards and a bunch of cowards, there's nothing we can do. So the few people get out there and sacrifice ourselves on the cross, and then somebody white is fighting, like the whites will fight the Equality Act. Well, what I'm going to do? They're fighting it. I'm not going to help them fight it. It's not a love affair, but it's like, man, where my people at? Now, I'm not talking about the straight black pride followers and supporters. I'm not talking about you. Y'all are fighting. We said send letters. We sent letters. Those letters slowed them down then. I'm telling you what I heard from the inside. Like, nobody sends letters anymore. Sending letters, we made a major difference. Now we got to flood the phone lines this week and call up and say, I want to speak to a person. This is sick that you're trying to push this through. We got to start saying, look, I'm not going to be a Democrat anymore. I don't even like Trump, but I'm going to vote for Trump. Anything other than this Equality Act. I'm abandoning that whole party, even if you're not part of the party. You got to start threatening them. We got to start, I don't mean threaten them physically, but like, we don't want anything to do with your party. You're Satan's party. You're evil party. You're the destruction of civilization party for those who are political. But my point being, as black people, I'm going back to what the brother said. It's not really that Child Protective Services cares more about whites than it is black children. Not it. It's white folk care more about white children than black people do about black children. Because with Charlize Theron, if black people were in an uproar about what she's doing, she wouldn't have those children. Black women have become the number one endorsers of this behavior in our community. And black males, who? Yeah. Black man ain't doing nothing about nothing except calling our women bees and hoes and calling each other N-words. That's the only thing you'll get a rise in wanting to smoke dope and make a good reason why it's good that dope is legal. If you want to get a black man spirited, talking about saving and protecting children, that ain't going to do it. You talk about how good it is to have legal dope and weed and smoke some weed. But he'll get it animated then. Or, go to the strip club. He'll get animated then. But, I mean, in terms of talking about working on behalf of our people, protecting our children and fighting this homophile assault and standing up for something that matters, and then the women will stand up, but they ain't going to be on the right side. They're going to go over to and there's too many people that, and I think the sisters out there, you see it all day. So you can't dispute me. I don't do it. I ain't talking about you. I didn't say all. But you go out there and say something against this stuff and see who comes and fights you. See the brothers coming in and saying, amen, sister. Thank you, sister. It finally got me a sister stand up and watch all of the war you start facing from your own sisters. Well, they get real quiet. And brothers, I mean, look at R. Kelly. I mean, how can we really sit up here and talk about, we really against it, and we got a dude that urinates on our daughters running around? What's happening is the white folk care about their children. It ain't the system. These white pedophiles raping everybody. The Nancy Pelosi's, the Hillary Clintons, the whole from Reagan through Obama. You had a pure administrative of pure pedo-homophilia, sick perversion of the level. The more I find out, because again, I did the Pizzagate, and people, high-ranking government officials, have watched it. And some of the information they share with me is way more disturbing than I can even share. Some of the stuff, if I try to share it with you, you would think I was crazy, so I just don't say anything. But the problem is not that the system is responding when they go after white children. I mean, the young white male was the one that's on this program. The 11-year-old white male is the one that's being taken to the gay clubs and stuff. So brothers calling and saying, the system cares when it's a white male. No, it's not the system cares when it's the white male. That's not true. He's a young 11-year-old white male. He's the one that's out there. They don't care. Not the system. It's white folks are like, we're not going to keep tolerating this. They care more about their children than we do. Hate to say it. I know some of us in our Negro mind, we want to, no, you should see what white folks do with their children. Yeah, whatever. The white folks are organizing against this homophilia. I'm telling you, I'm on the phone with them. They're serious about it. We ain't doing it. And we are doing it. We're doing it here. But we don't have enough support nationally. And the people that are supporting are what's beginning to happen is, like the brother said, it's in the schools now. It's in the churches. Everybody's surrounded now. No one can deny it anymore. Now people realize they're desperate. Now all of a sudden people want to tune in. But the longer we wait, the worse it gets. And I'm going to be honest, the more my price goes up. I'm getting people calling me now. Oh, we want you to come out. Yeah. How much? Yeah, well, how much? I tell them the price, $3,000 plus room and board, accommodations, flight. Oh, well, brother, we a little tight. Okay, well, okay. You're a little tight. I understand. You can't afford it. I understand. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been trying to get people organized when it was easy, when I was paying for it. Hey, look, if you're serious, show me you're serious. We can win this battle easily, but people gonna have to make some decisions and sacrifices, and ain't nothing free over here. I'm not doing it. Because it don't work anyway. People take it for granted. It's time we get serious and start organizing And if you got a better person to do it, get them. I'm telling you right now, you surrounded by cowards and people who don't have the competence to fight this. People who were competent in fighting battles of the yesterday, we can get one of the most serious moments in all these 10 years of radio. In October, we're going to celebrate 10 years of radio with One Horizon, Straight Black Pride Movement. 10 years of radio, Irritated Genie. One of the most memorable moments in radio for me was Baba Mukasa Ricks. He's the brother that started Black Power. He was the one going around burning down the cities. He was the one walking with Kwame Ture. He's a real man. I met him and his beautiful daughter in Atlanta. Like, he's a real man's man. You know. And I was talking to him. He was breaking down what he was doing. And I'm gonna be honest. My interest is always, I need these great freedom fighters to give us some advice of what we do with this war we in. So he's breaking down all the great stuff in the fights that they had. And I said, look, let me give you the number again. Anybody wants to call, 515-602-9781. Again, that's 515-602-9781. Let me say it 2 more times in case I said it too fast for you. 515-602-9781. Again, that's 515-602-9781. So he was talking, I'm talking to Baba Mukasa Ricks, and I'm like, Baba, you fought so vehemently that back then. Right now, we facing this whole homophile thing that they're bringing in on our people. I said, you got any advice for us, how we can fight this? And I never forget what he said, man. I was so impressed with his honesty. Because that's what soldiers need. They need to know, nah, this is your battle. What he said was, he said, nah, I don't. I said, but you do realize the issue, right? He said, no, it's a big problem. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to tell you how to fight that. He said, but I do know we got to fight this white supremacy. And I said, dang. What he's telling me is, look, when I was there and I knew what to do, I did it. I fought. I did my job. This is your battlefield, son. Don't ask me how to fight it. It's your fight. I mean, it hurt a little bit because I was like, I'm thinking he's going to break down all these strategies. And he's like, man, this is something different. I know how to fight, but I fought. And I appreciated that because it was more real. It was like, yeah, he said it's a big problem. I remember we were at the meeting in Atlanta one time, and I saw him, and he said, look, I agree with you, son. I got a daughter right here. I want her to have a nice husband. He said, black man supposed to be the black woman. There ain't no two ways about that to me. And I'm sitting there going, wow, he agrees. He basically saying, you got to do something. And I said, that's when I realized I got to do something. And I can't be looking around for people. I got to look for people to tell them, get on board and let's go. There's nobody out there that has a board in the ship already. I got the ship. That's the reality. And there's nothing I'm bragging about. It's not favorable, but it's a battle. I've taken it. I'm glad to be of service. So I want people to understand that. It's very important to understand that. There's not a lot of places to go to fight this. I want more of them. But the reality and the truth of it is, and I'm telling you the truth, it's not that the state cares more about white children. It's the whites in this country care more about their children than we care about ours. And so when something's happening to their children, they make an issue out of it. And so somebody has to go and at least make some attempt to do something. We don't. We're cowardly. We're tuned into a bunch of clowns, like the brother was saying, listening to basic Amos and Andy all day long. And we're not thinking about our survival. Let me go back to the phone. 515-602-9781. Again, that's 515-602-9781. Hit the number 1 so I can bring you on in. All right. I'm going to give it a 10 count. Then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to end the program. But I want everybody to take this strategy and this advice. Find out who your member is in the House of Representatives. Find out who they are. Call them this week. They have a vote Thursday. Let them know, hey, this Equality Act ain't nothing but a pedophile act. And they're going to try to talk you out. No, I want to talk to somebody. I feel like you're going after children. I don't want this homosexuality to be equated with the Civil Rights Bill. This thing is sick. This whole stuff that y'all are doing, is Justice for Victims of Lynching Act. Let's focus on the Equality Act, but bring up the Justice for Victims of Lynching Bill too. Say, I don't want any of this stuff. That's not the direction this country needs to be heading. We need to be teaching children math, science, engineering, and get back to being competitive in the world instead of this sexual sickness. And I got a wife, I got a man supposed to be with a woman. You tell them straight up, you don't agree with this, and you're not going to support them. And you're going to remember this come voting time. You're going to be looking for a candidate who will stand on this position. Call them, flood them with phone calls. Your person in the House of Representatives, the Congressional Black Caucus, they're not going to do much to change, but definitely flood the white politicians. You can call the Congressional Black Caucus too. Call whoever it is that's in the House of Representatives. Let them know you need to table this bill or you need to stop this bill. We're going to remember that you voted for this, and we're going to check the record. Everybody that supports this filth and indecency and degeneracy, let them know, make calls, complain, get your church members to call and complain, get your political groups, get your, if you're with the Q Dogs or if you're the sororities or fraternities, all the organized groups out there. If you're a Pan-African that really cares about black people, and you are willing to make a phone call in this regard. If you're political and you have groups, start fighting back, brothers and sisters. And this is how we do it this week. Just phone calls make a difference because, first of all, they don't like having to field all these calls. Secondly, when they start hearing how you feel and start realizing it don't take but 10 people in one day to call saying the same thing from different parts of the country or from the same city and saying the same thing that you feel this way for a person to say, you know what, let me think about this. They'll start calling other congressional people, yo, we got a backlash. It don't take but 10 in one day. And if you have a week where you have 10 a day for an entire week that want to talk to somebody and want to call back and they want a person to talk to and want to let them know I will not be supporting your campaign if you vote for this sick bill, it'll actually stop. It's not as difficult as we think. We don't know it, and we say stuff like, I don't believe, why we believe in this political stuff? It doesn't have nothing to do with believing. Are you fighting or not? You're not fighting, shut up. Go sit down somewhere. It's like, you do what you can do when you can do it. And this is what we can do now. We can fight this bill in every way we can. You can share this program. Send it around. Share it on Facebook. I'm going to put it up on YouTube. Share it on YouTube. Send people, say, you got to watch this. Let people watch it because they're going to see the stuff you saw in the beginning. Then once they get here, they'll go, okay, we got to fight this thing. And they'll begin to watch the other programs where we talked about it, and they'll realize this is a real major problem. Do what you can do. And let's stop arguing about the different ways. Look, just fight. Whatever your fight style is, fight. But we got to do something and stop talking. We got to keep talking, but talk about what we've done in fighting. And I've been fighting, so I can talk. And I hope you've been fighting too. Matter of fact, if you're listening now, you are fighting because you educating yourself to know we can't sit down anymore and be quiet on this. It's not benefiting us. It's only making sure that our children are going to be violated and destroyed. The new slave trade looks different than the other one. It ain't no ships this time. They coming to us, wherever you are. You ain't got to go nowhere. They coming for our children. And they don't intend to negotiate. And neither should we. It's a crusade. Are you going to participate or not? All right, well, I don't have anybody that hit number one. Again, the number 515-602-9781. Again, that's 515-602-9781. Is there anyone that wants to say something? Hit the number one. I'm going to give it a 10-second countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, well, that's it, brothers and sisters. So we're going to go ahead and end the program tonight. I know you glad you said that brother Genie can really go. Nope. Tonight, I'm not going to go like that. I'm going to end it with, that was our last call that we had, and I'm going to end it. I tried to do it last week, but it didn't work right. So this week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end it with United Front. So let me go back to the hate that hate produced. Powerful